Well, I wasn't planning on having another podcast episode this Thursday evening after having just done one 24 hours ago, but nature is upping the ante on winter storm potential in western New York. So it's time for me to give you a little more in the way of details on what we can probably expect, what's high confidence, what isn't. I'm meteorologist Don Paul, and this is my podcast, Don Paul's Bits o' Blather on weather and climate. We'll leave the humor part out for tonight. Earlier today, Thursday, the National Weather Service in Buffalo had already issued a high wind watch for all of western New York, excepting Allegheny County, from Friday evening through late Saturday night. They also had a lakeshore flood watch up. Both of these watches are still up from Saturday into late Saturday night for Lake Erie shoreline potential flooding and a seiche from waters rapidly rising on strengthening southwest winds during Saturday. But now they've added a winter storm watch, not a warning, to the mix for the potential for a lot of shifting lake effect snow. Then you may wonder, why is it then not a lake effect snow watch rather than the broader winter storm watch? Well, the National Weather Service no longer issues lake effect snow watches because a lake effect itself is a small scale event in terms of geographic coverage. So until there is higher confidence as to the location and timing of what will be an intensifying band of lake effect snow, the broader winter storm watch is being used, but I believe this will be elevated to a more specific lake effect snow warning as guidance becomes something that can lend more confidence to the forecasting of location, intensity, and timing for lake effect snow. In the meantime, the high wind watch Friday evening again deals with southeast winds ahead of a deep low pressure system, another major storm, which will produce a major severe weather outbreak in parts of the Gulf states and the southeast U.S. states on its warmer side. This time, the southeast wind potential is not quite as potent as it had been on Tuesday, but there still could be some damaging gusts Friday night ahead of the main storm center, which will be tracking to our north and west during Saturday. And the highest risk for damaging gusts will be over the hilly terrain and along the Lake Erie shoreline again, Chautauqua, southern Erie, and western Cattaraugus counties Friday night. Probably some pretty strong winds reaching the Niagara frontier, but not as strong as we had experienced on Tuesday. In other words, no 70-mile-an-hour gust at the airport this time around. Now, this deep storm, once its cold front passes through western New York in the pre-dawn hours of Saturday, will have the winds veering rapidly to southwest behind that front, with the southeast winds pushing Lake Erie's waters toward the western end of the lake. The southwest winds will take those higher waters and shove them right back at the Lake Erie shoreline in what's called a seiche. With that in mind, there is the likely occurrence of Lake Erie shoreline flooding, especially during Saturday afternoon and evening when southwest winds reach their peak strength. That high wind potential, again, a little less than what we had experienced on Tuesday, but we could see winds reaching the threshold at which wind damage will be occurring. The cold air will be deepening rapidly on Saturday, southwest winds averaging 30 to 40 miles an hour with some peak gusts to 55 and possibly 60 miles an hour on the Niagara frontier. Widespread snow showers will first develop, and then a more organized lake effect band of snow will begin to set up. The early indications, in my mind, will take that lake snow well north of Buffalo initially. In fact, even though Niagara and Orleans counties are not included in the winter storm watch, I do believe there will be at least a quick hit in those two counties during Saturday afternoon before the band settles somewhat southward toward the Buffalo metro area, including the Buffalo North towns, and eventually the densely populated Buffalo South towns as well. With winds of this magnitude, as soon as this band becomes intense, there will be some near whiteout conditions developing within this band because the snow is going to be blowing sideways as well as coming down. And some heavy accumulations are likely. What is less specific in the forecast right now is the timing and the location of this band later Saturday night into Sunday morning on the day playoff day. Here's what you can count on. If you're coming to the stadium anywhere from the north and northeast of Orchard Park, there will be snow on the roads, even if this lake effect band has slipped south of Orchard Park by, let's say, 7 a.m. on Sunday. The European model says it won't, or shows it won't. It has the band still over central Erie County on Sunday morning, meaning very difficult travel because we're going to be experiencing west-southwest winds at 20 to 30 with gusts to 40. That's enough to produce whiteouts. In addition to the snow already on the ground, more will be coming down. For the game goers, you're going to be dealing with some really harsh cold. Not as harsh as in Kansas City, but harsh. Actual game day temperatures in the low 20s, but the wind chill will be in the single digits. Sometimes not too far from 0, other times not too far from 10. Not properly covered, you can run into frostbite and hypothermia pretty easily in those circumstances. And if you're imbibing a certain liquid, that can lessen your sensitivity, but not lessen your potential damage from such loss of heat through your skin. So it's going to be a tricky day, to say the least. We've played in worse conditions than this, but this is pretty nasty. Then there is the drive home. Again, the location of the lake effect snow band in the European model is a little farther north, but we're still pretty far out from Sunday on this Thursday evening. And when the high resolution models begin to cover Sunday, we'll have a better idea whether that band is going to shift back to the north to the Buffalo North towns or stay over the Buffalo South towns. There is still some chance it will stay below the Buffalo South towns over the hilly terrain to the south and over such towns as Eden and Angola. So it's a dicey call, and that's why it is still a winter storm watch rather than a lake effect snow warning, which I believe will be coming, as I said earlier, when confidence is higher. Some of this lake snow will still be around on Monday, but a little more wind shear will probably cause the band to become somewhat less organized during Monday. But that Monday morning commute could still be hairy. Wind speeds down a little on Monday, but still some blowing snow. So this is a serious situation that is shaping up. I've already been asked, is the B word going to show up? Right now, I would say there is at least the potential for near blizzard conditions within the heart of the snow band, wherever it is, due to the wind strength. It's a little hard to tell whether the criteria of 35 mile per hour frequent gusts for 3 hours or sustained over 35 for 3 hours will be met, but it will be close. So you should count on very difficult travel within this lake effect band. And again, even if it has slipped south of the stadium early in the day for tailgaters, you tailgaters really need to be layered up because of the wind chill hazards to you. And there will be snow on the roads and wherever it is you park, even if the band is to the south. So we'll leave it at that for now. This looks like a very wintry week coming up. Very poor model agreement as to lake effect potential and location later this coming week, so we won't even get into that this time around. Thanks for listening this far, and I'll keep you updated not only here on the podcast, but on social media. I'm meteorologist Don Paul.